Hari Om. Let's start with the prayer. Om Samasta Jana Kalyani Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanura Mardhanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Tvameva Mata cha Pita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhuscha Sakha Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravidam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Amadeva Deva Tvameva Sarvam Gurudeva Deva. Hari Om. We are addressing the fundamentals of Advaita Vedanta because the Acharya started answering the question Konama Bandhaha Katamesha Agataha Katam Pratishtaha. So what is bondage and how did it came and how did it get established? So bondage is defined as taking Anatma as Atma. So before that he has defined what is Anatma and what is Atma, and taking Anatma as Atma is the bondage. And why one takes it Anatma as Atma? Anatma means that which is not self, Atma is the self. So taking what is not I am as I am is the bondage, and that's what the definition is. So why do I take that? He says because I don't know myself. That's a simple answer is because I don't know myself, therefore I am taking what I am not as myself. So therefore the ignorance is a problem. So ignorance becomes a fundamental ignorance because this is, I don't know anything else is a different thing. I don't know myself is called Mula Vidya or the fundamental ignorance, which some religions call it as the original sin, and that is the root cause for the problem. So if that is the case, we are looking at avidya, that means ignorance is the cause for the whole creation itself. And that's how the basis is, because in the Adhyasa Bhashya, Shankara starts with, when I don't know something, then I project something other than what it is as the entity there. And a typical example is given as, I see a snake, although it is a rope, because since I do not know the rope, I am seeing a snake. And where is the snake? Snake is where the rope is. So it's as though the snake is superimposed where the rope is. Without the rope, there cannot be a snake. And where the snake is, exactly in the same place where the rope is. So therefore, even though the snake came from my mind, I am projecting it as though it is out there. And why am I projecting? Because I am not seeing the snake. But it's not complete ignorance, it is a partial ignorance that causes this adhyasa. So all that are implied as a part of fundamentals of Advaita Vedanta. Now we are looking at this a little bit more carefully because a lot of acharyas, subsequent acharyas and the acharyas of different darshanas are heavily criticized the Advaita Vedanta. So we should have a clear understanding what really means. So we have stated that what is real, what is not real, and what is mithya. And this is the basis of Advaita Vedanta. What is real is very clearly defined from the point of Advaita Vedanta. So when the other acharyas criticize the Advaita, you have to be careful and from what basis or from what level they are criticizing this. So we need to be very careful in terms of the analysis also. So from what basis they are looking, so they are having their own definition of what is real and what is not real, and from that reference if they criticize, then it's not really valid criticism. So therefore we should have a clear understanding what Advaita states as, and stating is what is real is only Brahman, because it is Trikala Abhatitam, that which does not undergo any change alone is real. So therefore that which is past, present and future, and therefore which doesn't undergo any change alone is real, and that fulfills only that which is Nityam, that is eternally the same, has to be infinite, because any finite can undergo a change. So only infinite cannot undergo a change. So Brahman alone is real. So from the point of Advaita Vedanta, that is real. In fact, from all other darshanikas also that is real. So, but that is only real because that doesn't undergo any change, therefore it is real. And unreal is where there is no locus for its existence. And we give example is the logical contradiction of Vandhya Putraha, son of a barren woman. You cannot have it because there is a logical contradiction involved. The other examples are essentially the horns of a hare, because no one has seen it, therefore they are not there. One can imagine those things in the dream, but they are not seen in the waking state, a hare with the horns. So this comes under the asat, that means never existing so far. And world doesn't come under either real because it doesn't satisfy the nityatvam, that means eternally remaining same, because it's called jagat, and jagat means jayate gacchate, which continuously changing, and that itself is the nature of jagat, and therefore it cannot be real as per the definition of Advaita Vedanta. It cannot be unreal like a Vandhya Putraha, because Vandhya Putraha cannot be experienced. Since the world is being experienced, it doesn't come under the anicca, the asat, that means the non-existence, and like my Gaga Bubu or Akasha Pushpam, these are the examples. That is a sky flower, and all are examples, traditional examples that are given, which comes under asat. And world is there because I am experiencing all the time. In fact, I cannot but experience all the time, and therefore the world doesn't come under real and doesn't come under unreal. Therefore, we have to have an in-between category which is different from, ontologically different from Brahman, and also different from the non-existing things, and that's what is called mithya. Mithya is not illusion, because when they try to define mithya as illusion and then criticize it, then it's a problem, because illusion is seen by a mind which is awake also, whereas here the mind and the seer and the seen are ontologically of the same order of reality. Therefore one has to be careful what exactly means mithya. And mithya is both the seer and the seen in terms of, through the instruments of seeing, are all of the same order. So one has to be careful when say what is mithya and how you criticize it, because the very criticism also becomes mithya also, because the basis is itself is in the order of this reality. So we accept in the Advaita Vedanta at least 2 degrees of reality, one from the Paramarthika Satyam, another is a Vyavaharika Satyam, that is transactional reality, which we call it mithya, and also in the Vedanta, Advaita Vedanta, there is a third category which is called the Pratibhasika Satyam. That means an imagination from the individual mind, and that is called Pratibhasika Satyam. The snake that my mind created where the rope is, that is Pratibhasikam. So when I see the rope as a rope, the snake disappears. Where does it disappear? It disappears into my mind. I will never see again the snake where that rope is, at least. Because I know it is a rope, therefore I won't project anymore, because I am not ignorant of the substantive or substratum or adhishthanam of that is the rope is the adhishthanam for the snake, because snake is where the rope is, and it's as though superimposed, not that there are 2 things to be superimposed, it is, this is a snake, so this is part is what the object is, and that we're putting a snake there, and when we know what it is, then this is a rope. So snake is removed and rope comes, but rope is real in the order of reality compared to the snake. So snake is my creation and the rope is Ishvara Srishti. It's, I didn't create it and put it there. So it is there and I am projecting on top of it my own creation. So whenever the individual mind is creating on top of whatever the creation of the Ishvara, and that is called Pratibhasikam. So when I see the truth as it is, then from then on I won't see any more snake where that rope is, because I know it's a rope. So Pratibhasika Satyam or the level of individual projection or individual mental projection will disappear once I know the adhishthanam. That means the substantive. That is, once I know the rope, I will not bring the snake again into the place where the rope is. Whereas, if there are adhyasa, that which we discussed before, that is the Ishvara creation, such as the mirage water or sunrise and sunset, even though I know the truth behind it, but still I see the sunrise and sunset, knowing very well sun doesn't rise or set. So the sunrise and sunset is not my creation, so it is not a pratibhasika error, it is a avaharika error. And similarly, the mirage waters, even though I know there is no water and it's only dry sand, and still I can see mirage water, but I have a knowledge that it's only appearance. That's called mithya. So there is Ishvara Srishti Mithya, there is a Jiva Srishti Mithya. So we are talking about levels of these errors, and the same way in the creation also, Paramarthika Satyam, it is from the pure Satchidananda, and Vyavaharika Satyam, the transactional reality, and from the point of individual projections, and those are several examples that are discussed in the Vedantic literature. One is the rope snake, another is the silver shell, where I am seeing silver where the shell is, and I pick it up as though it is a silver, and when I pick it up and look at it, I recognize it is a shell. So why am I seeing silver? Because I see the dominant characteristic that is shining, which is like a silver, and is common to silver and common to the shell. So when I see, my eyes only concentrating and emphasizing only the dominant attribute, that is the shining silveriness, and therefore I think it is a silver, and only when I pick it up, then I have other attributive knowledge. That means I know it is on the other side, it's not silver, it is only a shell. So when I get complete knowledge of it, then I can still see the silver there, but I know it's not a silver, it's only a shell. So this error of mistaking has been addressed extensively in the literature in terms of arguments, counter-arguments, and so on and so forth. We should all be familiar with it when we open the literature and try to understand what the other Acharyas says, and when the other Acharyas criticize, when they say Advaita says the world is illusion. Or doesn't say it's an illusion, it's only mithya. There is no translation of mithya as illusion, because the proper illusion is only it's not really real. It is real at the level of transactional reality. The mirage water is different from real water. So real water is also mithya. Mirage water is a different degree of mithya, and therefore all these things have to be clear. So we say mirage water is an illusion, but at the same time real water is not illusion. So real water, as per the Advaita, we need the real water to quench the thirst in the waking state. Both the thirst and the water are of the same order of reality also. So this has to be clear. So when they criticize that it is Advaita says it's an illusion, be careful, watch out the words, because this is a mithya. It is transactionally real and not absolutely real. That's exactly what the statement is. Now when there is a transactionally real, Advaita also says it cannot be different from Brahman. Why? Brahman is infinite and there cannot be anything other than Brahman. Why? Because if there is something other than Brahman, then Brahman cannot be Brahman. Brahman means infiniteness. So even the world that I see, even though transactionally real, the differences are real at the level of transactions, because at the level of senses, the reality of the differences exists and distinction, and I am glad that this is different and that is different. Just because of Advaitin, I don't say that there is no difference in the things. I see differences, but in spite of the differences, I have an understanding there is one substratum behind the differences. That is the knowledge. Just as a scientist, he says that fundamentally it's made up of electrons, protons and neutrons. These are fundamental particles that we study in science. But at the same time, the packaging different and things look different, and we're glad that they are different. Just as the same electrons, protons appearing as a garbage one side, same electrons, protons appearing as a delicious food. And we can discriminate at the level of transactions. At the same time, knowing well, fundamentally, there is not really different. So this is essentially what Advaita. So Advaita Vedanta is extremely scientific and absolutely real in terms of what it tries to point out, even though other criticisms are there against it. We have to also see, when we look at the criticism of Advaita Vedanta, they use Navya Nyaya. Navya Nyaya is a modern logic. Modern logic was developed obviously around the 11th century by Gangeya, and for subsequently it is evolved so extensively. Before that, obviously, there must be another Nyaya, which is called Nyaya Vaiseshikas, and Nyaya Vaiseshikas are the ones that have been there in terms of logically trying to analyze the system. For them, logic comes first and the scripture comes second. So this is the order of their arguments, and Navya Nyaya, so-called modern logic, is used in trying to criticize Advaita Vedanta. That is the essence of criticism by the Narayana Tirtha in terms of the Dvaitins, and also by Vedanta Desika called Satadushani. Satadushani means 100 abuses against Advaita Vedanta, and there the arguments are essentially dialectic arguments using Navya Nyaya. And the arguments are very sharp type, but most of the time is mostly confusing with a lot of vikalpas. If it is that it has only 3 choices and the first choice doesn't work, second choice doesn't work, third choice doesn't work, therefore the whole thing doesn't work. So this kind of arguments are there if you go to the criticisms of Advaita Vedanta. Before you get lost, first we should have a clear understanding whether the Advaita is really right or not. Once we have that, then whatever the arguments, the so-called hair-splitting arguments only split the hair, but not really attacks the understanding-wise, they don't help. So now we are addressing how one became many. How did avidya come into picture, and how did the avidya causing the projection of all that? This is the basis of the Advaita Vedanta, and therefore it is subject to criticism by other acharyas. And this essentially we go into a little bit detail. Says one becoming many itself is called a force is required. Even from the science point, if one deteriorates into, there is a change of state, one becomes a many, and that is caused by a change of state is caused by a force, and therefore force is essential in contributing to a change, and that force is what is called Maya. So Maya is defined, this is the Avyakta Namni Paramesha Shakti. So Viveka Chudamani starts Avyakta Namni Paramesha Shakti Anadya Vidya Trigunatmika Para Karyanumeya Sudhiyaiva Maya Eya Jagat Sarvam Idam Prasuryati. So Idam Jagat Sarvam Prasuryati. The whole universe, this whole universe is projected by what? By Maya. And that's a fundamental statement when we talk about Advaita. Advaita says Maya gave, this is a force behind one becoming many. So how did one become a many? According to the Upanishad itself, that is according to the scripture, it says he saw, and what was there before is existence, and there is nothing other than existence, and existence saw. So, saw what? Saw that there is nothing other than himself. So he wanted to become many, and he became many, and that is the essentially cause for creation. So becoming many, so he himself became many. So Brahman himself became many. That's a statement. So that means the Brahman itself is the plurality. So the whole world is nothing but Brahman only. Brahman is what? That which has no difference of any kind. So now we are looking at statement of the scripture, and Advaita is strictly following the essence of the scriptural statement. What it says? He himself became many. What was that he? That is pure Sat, which is existence and which is nature of consciousness, and it became many. So when it became many, it is nothing but existent consciousness, undifferentiated but appearing as many. And we discussed essentially it is the becoming many is vivartam. What means? It is transformationless transformation following the scriptural analysis of just as the gold becoming into many. All this we analyzed because what was the causing for becoming many? It's called Maya. Maya means a Shakti. So Brahman cannot have a Shakti. Brahman is pure Sachidanandam. There is no Shakti and the one who has a Shakta. So when it comes to the creation, we have to bring in a factor which is called Ishvara. So Ishvara is the Lord of creation, and when he wants to create, he himself became many. At the same time, to become many, he uses the Maya Shakti as his tool. And this is what is implied. So Ishvara is Parameshwara Shakti. That's what the statement. Avyakta namni paramesha Shakti. So it is the Shakti or the force that is endowed with, that is locus with Ishvara. Now, Ishvara is being defined. Ishvara is the one who has the Maya as a Shakti. So, who is the Ishvara? Because there cannot be anything other than Brahman. So, Brahman with Maya Shakti is called Ishvara. So we are now defining Ishvara according to Advaita is nothing but Brahman identified or having with the Maya as his power is called Ishvara. And using his own power, he became many. So therefore, he is not only the intelligent cause. So in becoming in what way? That means he knows how to become many and what way to become many, and using the force he became many. So he is not only the intelligent cause, he is the material cause as well. That is agreed upon both the Advaita Vedanta as well as the Visishta Advaita also. Only Dvaitins do not accept he is the material cause. So we forget about Dvaita, we will only analyze these two because this is much more scripturally logical and also agrees with the scriptural statement. And when he became many, so that is what is called Maya. Now, why did he become many? What are the cause for becoming many? It says Maya Shakti. Maya is a Shakti, he using it. But what exactly is a Maya? What is the cause of becoming in this kind of Maya? Many has to be now understood. And where is Avidya comes into picture? Ignorance comes into picture. This is what is Maya same as Avidya, and who has the Avidya locus? All these things need to be clear when we go into the further analysis of what exactly Advaita Vedanta says. We'll proceed it in the next talk. Now we'll stop here at this level. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.